Yes! I need your help right now. Can you give me an R?
R.
Give me a P.
P.
Give me an M.
M.
Give me an E.
E.
Another E.
E.
Another E.
E.
An I.
I.
An E.
E.
And what have you got?
R-P-M-I-E.
Good point. That is not technically a word.
It's not a word.
No, I know. Sorry, but what it does mean, it does mean reason, prophecy, method, epsilon, envy, excel, infuse, and endpoint, which means it's the elite series. It is Saturday. It means it's Rocket League, and here's what we've got for you.
Woo!
Come on! Week 6 kicks off with the current champions Endpoint looking to seal their playoff place.
Puts Endpoint into the lead. Endpoint starting to find that championship form.
They need to defeat Excel, who carry faint hopes of qualifying themselves.
What a finish jumping off the backboard.
Just prior to play 4 in match 2, but bottom teams Epsilon and Infuse both showed signs last week of a brighter future ahead.
Here comes Flarky with a shot, and it's going to be 2-0 to Epsilon. Dan gets a shot on net and he gets the goal.
Ranked #1 in Europe, Method can destroy any team.
Scores it, wins it for Method, putting them into top 4 contention.
But will changes to their lineup open a playoff window for Envy?
Mounts finds Frisk with a pinpoint pass. Such power on that finish.
Our final match is simply unmissable. The top 2, Reason.
Oh! B Florus on the line. Reason Gaming, dominant.
And Prophecy.
Prophecy tie up the game at 1-1.
Meet in what should be an absolute classic. Yes, it will be. RIP-me is obviously the big word now, Stumpy, isn't it? Everyone's using it. Cole?
RIP-me.
Yeah, lovely to have you here. Let's take a little walk.
Okay.
Gentlemen, week 6, it really is hotting up for Rocket League, and Reason, undefeated, they're already in the playoffs, aren't they?
I know, they've got to be happy with their performances so far. Getting through the playoffs undefeated, amazing.
Yeah, indeed. Now, obviously, a lot of pressure on. You need to get into the playoffs, Cole.
Yes.
Who's got the chance of not making it?
Envy and Excel, both of them, if they don't get a win today, they're out of here. So their hopes are teetering on the edge.
Indeed, and if they don't already out of the playoff contention is Infused and Epsilon, as you can see from this standings at the moment. Gentlemen, I'm looking forward to having you debate everything that happens in front of our eyes with this lovely audience we've got with us. As you can see, Prophecy, Method, Endpoint, and Excel, and Envy, all within a shot of getting to the playoffs. It is the top 4 that can only go through past week 7. So, right now, gentlemen, I'm going to pass to that lovely lady who was just dancing around. You saw that. Don't be jealous.
It was wonderful.
I know it was wonderful. Ariel, you're backstage. What's going on?
Hi, I am backstage right now. Oh, Neil's kick. Come on, you missed a cue. Diving into the scene. So I've got Neil's kick here and the lovely Chacaron. Now, you guys are up first. And this is where things get really tense for you guys because it's all about the playoffs now. You're fighting for those positions. How are you feeling going into this matchup?
Feeling comfy.
You're feeling comfy. I can tell from the way you dived into the sofa.
Yeah, I feel at home here.
Okay, what's your prediction for this first game?
I mean, it's gonna be tough, but yeah, we're sitting next to the MVP of last week, so
yes,
yeah.
we are. Now let's talk about that. You were MVP last week. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. I think I've only had it, this is the second time, so it's
Is
pretty
it?
good. Yeah.
And for those who don't know what MVP means, what is it?
It's the most valuable player. It's decided by the casters, I think. So.
Decided by the casters, so you're like basically the fave. You're the teacher's pet this week.
Yeah, it's really good, pretty good.
So you must feel quite good going into this week. Last week, it was one of your hardest matches so far. Prophecy had been undefeated up until that point. You guys smashed it. So are you feeling a little bit more relaxed this week, or is it still all to play for you guys?
I thought I was playing really well last week, but like recently in the last few days, I don't think I've been playing too well, so it's going to have to see how it goes.
So it's funny you say that because you were talking about Prophecy earlier, weren't you? And saying this week online, they've not been playing that great. And so between Prophecy and Reason at the end, what would your prediction be for the match at the end of the day?
I think the way it's been going this season, I think Reason it's got to be for Reason to take. Yeah.
I think Reason going to take it. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think Reason will take it. Yeah.
Right.
I'm rooting for Prophecy though, but...
You're rooting for Prophecy. Well, we've got a poll on our Twitter page. It's at Gfinity. Make sure you use the hashtag Elite Series. Who do you think is going to win at the last match today? Reason completely undefeated. Prophecy got beat by Endpoint last week. So it's all to play for between those two. Let us know your thoughts. We've got a poll up there for the next 3 hours. So you've got plenty of time. You can make yourself a cup of tea whilst you vote. But make sure you get your votes into us at Gfinity on our Twitter page. Back to you, Tom.
Typical of Niels Cook arriving late. Well, hopefully he does not arrive late because he definitely needs a win today for Excel. If they don't get that win, they are out. Now, Onset, my main man, welcome back, week 6. Exciting things happening. But we saw from the MVP, Chakaron. What did you notice from his play last week?
Chakaron was the standout player. Obviously, MVP, he took that award. As you say, the casters decided that he had the standout performance of last week, and it was what he added to his game from previous weeks that we've seen. Endpoint notorious for being very defensively sound team, and Chakaron's one of the reasons for that. But what Chakaron actually added to his game last week was some more offensive play, and we can see that in one of the clips that we're going to see here in the background.
This is him in the little pink purple. What colour would you call that?
That's a fuchsia.
Fuchsia.
I think was what we'll go with. But one thing you will notice is the way that at the moment he's rotating back behind the team. He's in line with the ball, so he's ready to scoop up any of those balls that might come around. Tries to find a beautiful pass out to Tinny as well. Obviously doesn't make contact there, but again, a smart rotation back here. And one thing you will notice here is watch him pick up all of these small boosts. You'll see a lot of players go for those big corner boosts on the midfield boosts. But if they're not there, that can leave you in some situations with problems. Now, look at this finish. Takes to the air, and then the double touch finish, just absolutely beautiful from such an acute angle. And that was what he added to his game last week, a little bit of flair, and he really took the game on his shoulders and helped Endpoint pick up that win.
A cute angle, you're cute. You're cute. No, stop it, you stop it.
Right,
I'm going to leave
get out
now.
of here.
I have to go.
Get out,
so we know that
here.
Chakaron is going to be playing. Thank you very much, On Set. We'll hear more from him later on. So Chakaron in that lineup. Gentlemen, joining Chakaron will be, of course, in that Endpoint lineup that has not changed since day 1 of the Elite Series in Season 1. You will be joining... or not you.
Me?
No, you're not playing.
I'm signed.
No, you're not signed. Sorry. But he'll be joining Cheerio and Tinny. What have you noticed about their gameplay this season?
Well, Onset mentioned it himself. They normally have this sort of pressure-based game. They move the ball up as a team, and that allows them to put so much pressure, to exert so much pressure on their opponents. What they've added this season, certainly after the first 2 games, is just a little bit more quality. And that's exactly as Onset said. We saw it from Chakaron last week, and we know that in particular Cheerio is capable of that. His finishing is just so good. As soon as he gets a chance, you know it's often going to be a goal.
Indeed. And obviously with Cheerio, there's a man who likes to score some goals. We saw it in a week that you weren't here, unfortunately, Stumpy, but Tinny was stealing goals off Cheerio, and likewise. So they all want to score lots of goals, this team, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, Cheerio is the top scorer for Endpoint. He just loves being up at the front, and his teammates love passing to him. He can do the solo plays, and he can do the team plays. He can do everything, and it will typically end in a goal for his team.
So Cheerio, top of the table at the moment. Just to have a look and see who else is got the possibility of knocking him off the top spot at the moment. It was Burrito B, Rick's Ronde, Cheerio. So Cheerio get a couple of... If he gets 2 or 3, he'll go top of the table at the moment. But Reason, and that just shows how dominant they've been this season, when you've got 2 players as the top goal scorers, that's a very sort of dominant display.
Yeah, I mean, going from bottom of the table in Season 1, or second bottom of the table from Season 1, to being the top of the table in Season 2 is an absolutely fantastic achievement. And the fact they've got 2/3 of their team as the 2 top scorers this season, amazing. It's such a good turnaround.
And then you can also see Pondex with 14 goals, and then Senzus right at the bottom with 12. Now, I did have a little chat with Senzus backstage when he was warming up, and before we see the lineup, he told me at one point, I said, you just missed a shot there, and he went, I don't have my glasses. And I was worried that he's not going to have his glasses.
You're going to have to lend him yours.
I will do. I didn't have my glasses last week, and I suffered, so I know maybe I could lend him them. But yeah, Excel, I've got it all to do. The lineup there what do you make of that team?
Pwned, Zenzus, and Niels Cook. We know that they're a lot more defined in their roles than Endpoint are. Endpoint, as I said earlier, they move the ball forwards of the team, whereas XL are more defined. Pwned is the man they're looking for to be the striker for them. If they want to score, they get the ball to Pwned more often than not, and he will finish it. But what I feel they need to do against Endpoint today is have Zenzus and Niels Cook move forward with a bit more with him and not quite rely on Pwned quite so much.
Yeah, indeed. Now, I can confirm, I have just heard that Senzus definitely does have his glasses. There he is, waiting backstage. He has the glasses. The goals are coming. Come on, Senzus, I know you've got 12. You can get 13 today. Not in one sitting. That would be a ridiculous amount. That would push him to 5. And that is maths there for you. The thing is, we look at Niels Cook. He's an important player. Late to an interview, but hopefully he's not late in getting off the backboard and getting a couple of goals.
Yeah, I mean, we've focused a lot on Pondex. What a hat. We focus a lot on Pondex when we talk about Excel as being a standout debut player. But Niels Cook is, I'd say, just as solid. The angles that he can find, you see there, he can come from the side and just... Some of them are just remarkable. Sometimes he's just speechless.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There was someone in the audience right now who's just gargling. I think it's a young child, maybe even a baby, but that play can make you go a little bit silly in terms of how good it can be, and he really does need to deliver today, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Cole said, if they find Pondex, then that's all well and good, but is that going to be enough to get to Endpoint?
Indeed. Gentlemen, can you tell much from when you see the players walk down? Can you see who's looking more confident?
Well, we could judge them based on how much swagger they've got when they come down.
You're not allowed to judge people.
We could vote on who has.
We will indeed.
Guilty now, Tom. Why do you do this to me?
We'll have a good look, and everybody, wherever you might be, have a look at these players. Right, it's time to welcome the players out. For Excel, we have Senzas, Pondex, and Niels Cook, and for Endpoint, we have the stars, the current reigning champions, Tinny, Cheerio, and Gentlemen, just missed it. Listen, I tell you what, the boys are ready. Just for a second, before they get back in place and get ready, that was a deliberate chip. It was a little, there, smashed it. Listen, we will go for a little moment right now for the A to Z of Rocket League, and we are moving on to the letter O for overtime.
Every game of Rocket League must have a winner. When the clock passes that 5-minute mark and the game is still tied up, we head into overtime. This is an unrestricted time limit where the team who scores the first goal will win the game. The closer that the teams are, the more likely you are to see an overtime result, which creates some of the craziest finishes you can have in a competitive game.
Right then, welcome back. So there you go, a little bit of A to Z of Rocket League. We'll move on to the next letter in a bit, which of course will be P. Now, what I normally ask my experts to do is to say who they think is going to win today. So let's have a little look. I'll go over to Endpoint. Cole, what are you saying? You reckon the Endpoint boys are going to do this?
Yeah, I do. XL put in their best performance in weeks last week against Method, but it just wasn't enough, and I think it's going to be the same this week against Endpoint. I think Endpoint are going to shade it.
OK. Cheerio. Yeah, got a wave. Cheeky. Back over to this side. Stumpy, why are you going for Excel?
I think even though Cole was saying that Pondex is the one that's going to be the big hitter here, I think all three of them are going to take on the responsibility and they're going to try and win this game as a unit this time. OK, beautiful. Now, one man we have not seen yet, but one man who loves the style. I love your dress sense. I love everything about it because we look kind of similar. Johnny Boy, onset. Look at this.
It's good synergy.
It is good synergy.
You've taken the best of both worlds. You've got the open button, the onset, and my colour scheme. It's pretty good.
Basically, you're a better version of both of us, is what we're saying.
No, I'm a combined version. But listen, gentlemen, you're going to be casting for us. How do you see this one going today?
For me, I'm looking at Endpoint. I'm just going by form. I think Excel have had a rough couple of weeks. They need to win this game, don't get me wrong. It's a huge game for both teams. But Endpoint have got the momentum at the moment, and I think they'll take it.
And do you reckon you can see an Excel win today?
I don't think so. I'm with Onset and Cole on this one. I'm with Endpoint all the way. They're on farm. Really good.
All right, gentlemen, enjoy this one.
Thank you very much, Tom. Johnny, good to have you back, mate. And
it's good to be here.
I'm looking forward to this one, mate. Excel Esports versus Endpoint. As I was just mentioning and alluding to, two teams both have very different sets of form at the moment. Endpoint coming off the back of some big wins. They've got 3 in a row now, whereas Excel, 3 losses in a row for them. So looking a bit difficult.
I'm also thinking back to last season, because I think in week 6 last season, these guys both lost. And it was the same sort of story. Endpoint, they had that mid-season resurgence. They're looking great. Then week 6, they lost. They got reverse swept by Reason. And everybody is super surprised by that. And I don't think that they're going to necessarily get reverse swept here. That would be a pretty bold prediction. But Excel, likewise to Endpoint, are having the exact same season as Season 1. They're just on a losing streak. This happened in them last season, and they started great this season. We thought they were going to be one of the favourites, but that losing streak has started, and I don't know if it's going to stop.
Well, another thing is Excel, this is such a must-win game for them in the context of the Elite Series. If they don't win here, I mean, their chances.
They're out of touch. Endpoint are out of reach of them, because they have that bonus point. They're 10 points, not 9. Well, that was for Endpoint, but they're on 10 points in the leaderboard, because they got the 3-2 loss, and of course in the Gfinity Elite, if you lose 3-2, you pick up 1 point. not the 0 like you would if you lost 3-1 or 3-0. So that one loss of 3-2, you never know. It could actually guarantee them a playoff spot by the end of today.
And now, we're about to get into this game. It's going to be Excel versus Endpoint. I want to hear a little bit of noise from the people in the crowd, though. Are we ready for this game, ladies and gentlemen? Do we want to get straight into this one? What? Pretty good, pretty good. I said, do we want to get into this game, ladies and gentlemen? Come on, let's have a little bit more before we get into this one. So let's have a little bit of a look at these two teams. It's going to be Excel Esports versus Endpoint. All right then, Johnny. So we are about to get into game number 1. But one thing I want to ask you, just before this first game gets underway, we've both predicted Endpoint to take this series. What do you feel like Excel Esports have to do here to take this game away from Endpoint?
Oh, that's such a difficult question. I really do think that it's all about Nielscock myself. I mean, Cole was pointing out Pondex, and he's always been known as a scorer. Even before he was on Excel, he's a great scorer, so lethal in front of the net of the opponent. But I think it's Niels. He needs to pop off because when Excel win, Niels is the MVP.
Game underway then. Niels Cook takes to the skies early on here, tries to follow that one up, but Cheerio managed to play a little bit of defense there for his team. Going to be a 50-50 contested in the midfield here, but Niels Cook is going to be back. Cheerio looking to pop that one towards the corner. Let's talk a little bit about Cheerio. He's a kind of a bit of a free spirit for this Endpoint team. Always does find himself at the top of those goal-scoring leaderboards. But as you say, Johnny, he's kind of a dog without a leash. He does what he wants.
He does what he wants.
And the other two have to play around that.
They've decided that they will play around that, though. They've decided Cheerio, you know, he was top scorer last season. He was MVP of Season 1. He's top scorer this season. Let's just let him do his thing, because he's scoring goals. We're winning games when he's scoring goals. That's dangerous. They get away with that one. But, you know, if you're happy to just let your teammate be the MVP, let your teammate be the scorer, that says a lot about Shakaron and Tini. That's really impressive that they can just, you know, let Cheerio do his thing as often as they do.
Pass out to Cheerio there. Cheerio couldn't quite get the redirect there. As we always see, first game of the day, a little bit of two teams feeling each other out, just trying to get a little bit of a foothold. But we can't underestimate how big a game this is, as we previously alluded to. As far as the Elite Series is concerned, as we see Zenzus make a big interception there.
A lot of stock players from Zenzus, though. That's not the first time. He is just hitting the ball straight at an opponent a few times. He needs to be careful with that. As you highlighted in the from Shakaron's highlights, you know, he's good at finding those passes. He does like to hit the ball at teammates. That's the one thing at Endpoint I think excel at more than their opponents.
Nice.
No pun intended. Oh, that's a chance.
I could say it's early, Johnny, but it's good to see that you're awake with that sort of pun coming in early. Tinny.
It's early in the morning as well.
Going to be contested here by Zenzus, but Zenzus is going to be Shakaron actually following this one up. But I like the position I'm seeing here defensively from Excel, positioning themselves on that backboard, because we know the Endpoint try and use that backboard, and Tinny puts up Endpoint just as I'm praising Excel's defensive play. Endpoint get the first one of the game.
Look at them, they're all just in the middle of the net. Zenz is trying to make an exceptionally difficult interception there. He goes straight up in the air, flying almost vertically to try and read. He wasn't even trying to hit the ball before the backboard. He's trying to predict where it's going to bounce directly over his head. Misses it. It's almost forgivable because of how hard it is, but he has himself to blame. Why is he in the net? He's nobody in Excel defending the back wall. And I got to give credit to whoever that assist was. I didn't actually see.
Pondex looking for the pass inside, and Zenzus is going to connect on the follow-up. What a pass inside there off that backboard, and just as Endpoint managed to take a lead, it's Pondex who finds that pass inside to Zenzus, and he just pops that one away, and we have the game tied up at 1-1 now.
Oh, week 5 MVP Shakaron looking lost. He was looking lost there. The ball just goes right over his head. That was a much easier save than the one that we saw Zenzus miss at the other end. Shakaron not going to be happy with himself for that one. Just over half the game gone. I honestly think Endpoint are looking better, but they don't have a victory at the moment to show for it.
That was the first real chance we saw from Excel, but they did convert, which is the important thing. It was a beautiful pass inside from Pondex. Shakaron takes the sky. He's going to try and get a second touch off the roof there. Would have been a little bit special. Would have woken everyone up a little bit, and this
they're pretty
first game of the day. It is, isn't it?
They're pretty lively in here.
Bit of energy in this one.
Yeah. I like this crowd. Oh, look at that dunk. It's a good follow-up on their own hits from Endpoint. They're not just leaving the ball to go straight to their opponents. They're trying to get dunks on it, fly after it, block the interceptions. It's like the interception of an interception.
Inception.
Yeah, glad we're on the same wavelength here.
Niels Cook takes to the skies here, playing defensively here. Zensus doesn't get the greatest of contact on the ball, but Pondex is going to be able to get a momentary clear. Does send that one up off the sky.
I want to see dribbling plays. I've not seen much ball control so far this game. Everybody's so eager to clear the ball, they're kind of just hitting it aimlessly into the midfield, which can happen very often, especially in game ones.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that's just a case of nerves? Just again, the players just first game of the day, trying to get used to it. Don't want to maybe take too many risks.
Oh,
maybe
there we go.
Just want to make sure that they don't make any particular mistakes. But we saw a little breakaway there momentarily for one of these sides. Another pass inside Pondex, trying to get on the end of that, trying to use every single inch of that Batmobile to try and get some contact and put Excel into the lead. We're entering the last minute of the game now.
Oh, that's a great pass.
Anything you're seeing here, anything that you're seeing from these two teams that might indicate who's going to squeeze out a win?
I still believe in Endpoint, not just because of flying into their net, but I was going to say that anyway. Not to take my word for it, but that is a long shot goal. Did that just go straight in off the ceiling? I think it did. Yeah.
It did.
No pinch, it just straight in off the ceiling. Chacaron boomed it.
And look at who was on the line there, trying to get another goal. I'm on to you, Cheerio.
He just wants all the goals, man.
He wants the goals, man, but sometimes you need that. You need someone who's desperate for those goals, hungry for goals.
To be fair, he might not have had full information. He might be trying to, get it across the line faster in case there's a defender coming in for an incredible last-second save. You've always got to be scared of that in 3v3. People trying to ambush you from behind. Happens an awful lot in threes. You're just dribbling, having a good time, and somebody comes in, does that. They just demo you from your blind spot.
Oh, Niels has a great shot, but a save does come in from Cheerio. The player we were talking about who loves goals is doing a bit of defensive work here. For Endpoint, just 15 seconds left on the clock. Endpoint defensively very sound as a squad, so they should feel pretty confident here about seeing this game out. They do have possession of the ball as well. Great pass inside. Zentus has to get the save with 5 seconds left on the clock, Johnny. This looks like Endpoint are going to be taking game number 1.
Yeah, Endpoint, all they need to do is hit the ground. That's on the way, but it looks, maybe going to stay up.
There it is.
Nielscock almost kept that ball in the air. Endpoint do get game 1 in the bag. This is great for them. They're already 4 points ahead of Excel in the standings. They can go completely out of reach of Excel with a win here.
And interesting to see there, 2 goal scorers. Cheerio, desperately, as he did try to steal that goal.
He tried to get the second one.
It was Chacaron and Tinny who put those goals in, so a little bit of responsibility being shared around there. And one thing that I had to point out, that Cheerio defensively was actually pretty sound in that game.
Yeah, Cheerio looking great. I mean, Cheerio's just, the reason he's been getting MVPs for this team is not just because he scores goals, it's because he gets the most points. And you get points for other things in Rocket League beside scoring, assisting, and saving. Just hitting an aerial, a ball in the air. That's the points. Clearing it, centering it. It's just generally being involved in the game gets you points, and that indicates who's playing well. It isn't always who plays well, because sometimes, a goal will happen with a demo in the goal line. You don't get any points for the demo. So you need to look beyond that sometimes.
Now let's talk a little bit about Endpoint. Obviously, they've just taken that game number 1. Of course, it is a best of 5 today, so there's still a long way to go in the series. Firm handshakes all around.
Firm handshake.
Firm handshakes.
Firm handshakes. Oh, we only got
beautiful people in the crowd as well. But let's talk a little bit about one of the players we don't talk a huge amount about on Endpoint. We talk about Cheerio, what he does. He obviously, always topping those leaderboards as far as goals are concerned. We talked about Chacaron, his MVP performance from last week. Talk to me a little bit about Tinny and what he brings to this team.
Tinny, he's kind of the scapegoat a lot of the time for Endpoint, because
the scapegoat. You never want to be the scapegoat.
Because if you're in defense and you mess up, everybody's like, whoa, yeah, the other team scored because you missed the ball. If you, take a shot and it goes crossbar and then doesn't go in, that's technically a mistake, right? Yeah. That's the same thing as missing the ball in defense. But people are going to go, oh, that was so close. People are always a lot more positive about offensive mistakes, unless it's, a wide open net. But Tinny being the defensive guy most of the time for that team. Oh, I love that.
Look at that. We've got a couple of artists in the crowd today. Loving that, guys. Loving what I'm seeing from you guys.
It's phenomenal.
It's a lot better than yours, Johnny.
I'm not going to lie. It's beyond anything I've created in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, come on, give yourself a bit of credit.
I'm going to steal that right by Johnny, age 26, and just stick it on my wall.
that would look good on your fridge.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the other side a little bit. Excel, obviously, they find themselves down by 1.
Yeah.
Now, they're on the back of some bad form here. What do you think is the problem? Because we see Excel having so many close series, but they just can't close out these wins. What do you think the reason for that is? Is there any particular Is it a chemistry problem between some of these teams? Is it, sorry, some of these players? Is it a communication issue? Or do you just think that they're just being outplayed in certain situations?
You can never be 100% sure. But the one thing that I've noticed that is always you know, completely in line with whether or not Excel are doing good is, are they actually on LAN or online? Online, they're phenomenal. Before preseason, we thought Excel are going to be great. They've got Pondex now.
Warriors.
Maybe. Maybe. You never know. You can't be 100% sure, but yeah, these guys, they've never shown us consistency on LAN, and that is a problem.
And the thing about LAN is, like, it's a completely different environment to playing at home. When you're at home, you have, you know, you can put your feet up.
Comfort.
You got your cup of tea. You got the television on in the background. You know, you're loving life. You got your mum shouting at you to get off the computer after you've been on there for about 8 or 9 hours.
Shouting back to like, get off YouTube. Wi-Fi is lagging.
Yeah, etc. But when you get to this live event, such a pressure situation. You basically turn up, you play straight away. Every single game matters. It's not a case of you get to, you know, you get to play 15 games of matchmaking before you get into the tournament games. You have to perform almost immediately. And I think that's something that Excel maybe have struggled with a little bit. It's just, as you say, adjusting to that LAN environment.
Do you think they're getting, I'm not going to call out anybody, and I don't know about any, you know,
just
behind-the-scenes struggles with Excel, but, you know, maybe somebody, you know, doesn't get along with someone else. That can sometimes happen. This is just completely hypothetical. I think, as far as I know, these guys are very happy playing together as a team. Look a bit nervous there, does Neilscock, but
he's worried about missing his mark.
Probably just
that's all it was.
Yeah, what's happening over there? He's like, are Endpoint okay? Are they going to get back into game 2?
I love that.
We don't want to 3v2 this.
I love that. We just saw a blur of jogging bottoms disappear across the screen at the start of it, but you see a cheeky little eyebrow raise there from the man at the end.
That's impressive. That was very fast.
Zenzus looking good, feeling good. He knows that camera's on him. Give us a little bit more, Zenzus. Go on. Look at that camera. Look. Is it Pondex? Oh my word!
How dare you?
Look at it. That's the look of, you dare say that
look
again.
Of, oh, it feels bad. They didn't recognize me.
Again. But he's ready for the next game, and that is the man who dishes out the firmest handshakes in the Elite Series, who will be coaching Endpoint today. And we'll have a little chat. We'll talk through what they could be talking about, Johnny. Dinner?
Maybe. I think they're probably
a bit early for dinner, isn't it?
They're like, come on. Chacaron, you were supposed to save like this sort of excuse for after we lost a game. Get the timeout after you lose. Right now, you're giving your opponent some time to refresh and try to reinvigorate themselves. But no, we'll get this issue fixed as soon as possible. We'll get back into the game.
Oh, that looks good. Oh, yes. Yummy. Get it down, you lad. That is... Those gains. Look at it. Oh, no. Go on, take another massive bite. Get it. Oh, no. It's never good, is it? They never tell you when you're about to be on camera. Oh,
no, they don't tell us either.
Luckily, I was looking at that one, but...
Get ready.
That looked really... I'm kind of hungry now.
I know. That was really... Oh, my goodness. I'm so hungry.
I don't even know what it was, but it looked
Production?
Good. It looked
please?
Good. Yeah, can we just, like, get some of that? That'd be fine. That'd be great if you could. But, yeah, we're just waiting for game number 2 to get underway. Oh, speak of the devil, Johnny. It looks like game number 2 is getting underway. So it is, of course, going to be Endpoint, who are 1-0 up in the series. Now we need to see if Excel Esports can answer back. And what a start from them. That'll be a great start. Excel, straight on the board.
3 seconds. Neilscock from the ground. This is actually really impressive. He's able to work out just in those split seconds before he takes that shot. If I just shoot this, I'm beating the goalkeeper. If he was going a bit slower, or if he didn't think he had enough boost to take that power shot, he would have slowed that down, maybe tried to dribble Tinny, but he just identified, I could just shoot this, and that's what makes Neilscock such a good player. He knows exactly how hard he can hit the ball.
I thought Pondex was going to pull off something magical. That ball towards the back post almost fell in. All the pressure early on from Excel Esports here. Pondex taking this one into the corner, tries to find it back across to a teammate. Neilscock's going to be up now, pushes that one towards the center, looks for a second touch on it, but Tinny going to do what he does best, and that's make sure that Endpoint do not concede another goal. Cheerio on the breakaway. Cheerio goes for the shot, but Neilscock, player we talk about being such an offensive powerhouse here for Excel, making sure that he's done his job at the back as well.
Yeah, that was great work by Neilscock. He just backed off far enough that he's kind of inviting Cheerio to dribble him a bit more.
Oh, this is going to be a goal!
Just in. What on earth?
Popcorn everywhere. Pondex!
What? Is this just a solid dunk? Cheerio trying to get a second touch, doesn't do well enough. Pondex, he didn't even take a deflection. He just boomed that. 62 miles an hour. Nobody back for Endpoint. Bit too much faith in Cheerio getting another touch there.
Yeah, Cheerio not quite pulling off what he wanted to do there, and Excel Esports find themselves 2-0 up within the first minute of the game. Exactly the kind of response they would have wanted after that Game 1 loss. See, that first game was a very close one.
Niels is doing the Cheerio. He's just taking every ball. You just believe that for Pondex right there.
Gets caught under that one momentarily, but
Zenzus going to go for an air dribble here. Chacaron to beat. Chacaron does well though. Niels Cook follows it up. Tinny is back on the rotation to get that save and get that ball away.
That's phenomenal by Zenzus to get a block on that clear. Air dribbling into the ball. That's something that Endpoint did really well in game 1. So maybe XL have identified that and think, all right, if we can't beat you, we're just going to join you. We're going to start air dribbling as well. Be pretty effective. But oh, there we go. Cheerio gets his goal. Finally, he's starting to climb back towards the top scorer. Chacaron, double touch. Last week he scored it. This week, perfect assist.
Cheerio, the self-proclaimed best player on Endpoint. Yeah. We must remember, he gets a goal there for his squad, and that's going to bring it back to a 1-goal game. And one thing that surprises me a little bit, and is obviously easiest. Oh, no! It's going to be 2-2 as Tinny. That's the second kickoff goal of the game, and the game, just like that, is tied up at 2-2.
I can't believe
it's carnage in the middle.
Such a disaster for XL. They're already in the lead. They've got one player cheating for boost, one player going straight for the center of the field, no one in goal.
Oh, it's difficult to watch. Not like this, XL. They were 2-0 up, the best start possible, but Endpoint. We talk about the show in championship form. This was the time of the season, in season number 1 that they came to life, and of course we all know how that ended up with them taking home that season 1 title. As we approach the 3-minute mark of the game, it's going to be XL who are on the offensive once again. Chacaron with a nice pass out there to
that's
Tinny.
Phenomenal play.
Here's a player who is back here, Pondex. Pushes that one towards the corner. Cheerio gets it away once again. Niels Cook keeping the pressure on high up the pitch though, and I always like to see XL. Might be an opportunity. Tinny does whiff that one, but Chacaron's going to be there. Zenzus is demoed by Chacaron, which might create an opportunity, and Cheerio's going to squeeze in at the near post. Endpoint take the lead.
So many open nets in game 2. It's time Pondex for the whiff. Cheerio. Oh my God, double whiff. What is going on, XL?
In the words of Shogun, someone hit the ball. XL throwing this game away. They were up by 2, Johnny. Now they're down by 1.
I'll tell you what. XL, in that break, I guarantee you they've said we just need to play faster. But now they need to try and control themselves a little bit. They've way overcompensated. They thought, hey, I don't know if they identified that Endpoint are playing slow or they thought that they themselves were playing too slow, but they've gone into this game at 1,000,000 miles an hour. They need to slow it down to maybe 999,999 miles an hour.
I can't say that. If I tried to say that, I'd end up biting my lip.
I think I got it right.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Close enough.
Nailed on. Right, well, what a turnaround in this game.
Almost half the game to go on set.
Yeah, XL were up by 2. Endpoint now up by 1. Bit of a shock to the system here for the XL boys. I almost feel for them, but Pondex coming off that sidewall looking to push that shot towards goal. And oh, what a save! Cheerio makes the save, but Zenzus follows it up. It's going to be 3-3. This game is lighting up this morning here at the Elite Series. What a save on the line there, but 3 players had to try and go for it. Zenzus sweeps up, and we have parity restored at 3-3.
And it was a great save, but we have to point out again, Chacaron this time. Missing a clear. This game has just been a disaster in the clear ball department. Now Chacaron going for another one, missed it. There though, good positioning by Tinny. He's just covered it up for Chacaron there because it was a tough clear that Chacaron was going for.
Zenzus now trying to take this one away, but Cheerio does get the pressure on Pondex. He's going to be able to get a nice pass down there and a little bit of
what is going on?
Control. I was just about to say, just as I was talking about control, we see another player just recklessly flying through the air, getting nowhere near the ball.
It's continuing.
But Cheerio does get near the ball, but the save is made by the XL Esports squad. Zenzus is going to be up. Cheerio looking to redirect that one in, but we're seeing it. Endpoint now trying to string together a few passing plays and maybe not rely so much on that backboard, which they like to favour.
Yeah, if the backboard is defended, I mean, the backboard for the longest time in the past year or so in Rocket League is such a good way to score. You just hit that backboard, your teammate's got the much easier shot than the goalkeeper has clear. But if the backboard is defended, why?
Oh, Zenzus with the save.
Good position by Zenzus. So it's good by Endpoint. If they see the backboard is already defended, don't pass it there. Slow it down, go for the dribble, go for the low shot, try an infield pass, try something that isn't, you know, a direct pass to your opponent who's already sitting up there.
Gonna be an important clearance here. A couple of players there from XL were low on boost, but Tinny takes to the skies now. Tinny trying to create some magic for his team.
It's big space. That's good.
Niels Cook with a lovely flick over the player. Finds a crossbar. It's going to be followed up. Oh no! It's not going to go in, but here we are. Zenzus puts it into the back of the net with 40 seconds left on the clock. XL Esports take the lead.
Oh my goodness, Pondex. He might have expected Tinny to hit the ball, so he reacted a bit late. Couldn't get above that. Almost in a nightmare. If that ball had hit that bar a little bit harder, it would have bounced on the ground, gone way too high for Zenzus to rebound. But luckily for XL, it stayed low enough that he had the open net. they're going for this kickoff again and again. I do not like this. They're in the lead and they're just not leaving anybody in goal and kickoff. It's so risky against Endpoint, who do love to cheat to the middle. Get that early dribbler shooties shot? Don't know where to put it.
Shooty poorly goalie. It's fine. I know it's early. Zenzus.
It is very early.
Tries to find a pass to a teammate, but it's going to be intercepted there by Endpoint. Endpoint now, as we approach the last 13 seconds of the game, know they have it all to do. They have to score to force this one into overtime. Of course, O is for overtime. Might be an opportunity, but well defended on that backboard by Pondex. Chacaron takes to the skies, does get a shot on goal, but that one's going to be pushed towards the corner. It's going to hit the floor, and we have a tied series now as Excel take game number 2.
Solid defensive display at the end from Niels Scott in what was a messy game defensively.
It was messy.
And we were almost talking about it a little bit in that game. Like, it can be contagious, defensive whiffs. And it's not just a mindset thing. It's not just the fact that you're in a game that's kind of messy and everybody's missing the ball and therefore you start doing it. But it's just that these guys have such high expectations of each other. Even looking at their opponents, you think he's probably going to hit that ball. Oh, he missed. I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
And in Rocket League, you can't turn on the spot like in other sports and other games. You're a car. So if you've committed one way, you've turned left. How are you going to then turn right? You've already committed one direction. So that's why we're seeing all these, chain misses after miss sometimes. Just players are positioning for the hit, and then they're not ready for the miss. But that kickoff, Excel, why do you do that to yourself?
Head in hands moment, difficult to watch, but I mean, Excel, to be honest with them, they've got to be feeling relieved after that game.
Oh, yeah.
They were up by 2, found themselves, as you can see here at this point in the game, down by 3-2, but Excel did manage to close it out. Pondex somehow finding every single part of the goal, apart from the back of the net there, but his teammate was there, of course, to finish that one off. And they do manage to close it out. And that's the kind of reaction we want to see.
I like it.
I like it. That's the excitement. We saw you. We're looking at you right now. The head's in the hands.
That was after...
It's
actually,
fine.
It was when 5 people in a row missed the ball. The crowd are loving it. But yeah, game 3, if Excel can start with the same pace, it did look like they had Endpoint's number in terms of the mechanical department. They're just looking a bit faster, looking like they're hitting the ball a bit harder, but they were also missing the ball a bit. That's what let Endpoint into the game. So they got to try and control themselves, rein themselves in. They don't want to go too fast.
Yeah.
That they're ending up missing the ball because they're going way out of their comfort zone. Maybe go a tiny bit out of your comfort zone, not like way above your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's all fine to try and challenge that ball high up the pitch, as you say, and keep the pressure on, but you still have to have that mind of, what if something goes wrong here, one of us needs to take responsibility. Exactly. But game number 3 is going to be getting underway. We, of course, tied up at 1-1. Such a must-win game for both of these teams, but Excel, I would argue, even more of a must-win game for them if they have any chance of staying in the competition. Chacaron finds the post early on, and Excel flirting with danger early on here, but managed to survive, keeping that game tied up at 0-0. Chacaron challenges his one. Does get an important block on there as Pondex was looking to reposition his car, maybe for a shot on goal. Pondex once again sends that ball flying towards the Excel side of the pitch. Pondex trying to use that backward to maybe find a teammate, but Endpoint are going to get this one clear.
I think Cheerio right now is really the only player on Endpoint who's able to match this pace that Excel are bringing to the field. So there are other ways that Endpoint can try and swing the game into their favor. They don't need to try and beat Excel to the ball. They could just go for fake challenges, go for dribbling plays, go for catches like we're seeing Tiddy do now. I think they've decided that they're going to try and control the game and maybe wait for Excel to misplay, because that has been happening. You're going to have to wait and see how this one develops.
Pondex sends this one towards goal. There is a player taken to the air. Zenzus follows this one up, and it's going to be Excel who take the lead. 1-0, just under 4 minutes on the clock. That ball by Niels Cook dropped down, and Zenzus,
it's a good fake,
squeezes into that top corner.
Good fake by Niels. Don't think it was intended, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Like, Niels right there did miss that ball, but the defender was counting on him hitting it. He was getting ready to save Niels' shot, and then that allowed the free goal, I think it was, for Zenzus.
Well, Excel do take the lead. One thing I want to hear how these guys are currently chatting away in game and how their communication's affecting their game. So let's jump into a quick listen-in with Excel Esports.
That's no good. That's not good at all. Hi.
Pretty silent.
Not a lot of communication
there, but in the meantime, in the background, we saw Endpoint tie the game up, and surprise, surprise, these two teams seem to be so evenly matched, and testament to how important this game is. Both of these teams just putting in so much to try and eke out a win or a goal or just get any sort of advantage they can in this game, Johnny. But as we approach that 3-minute mark, once again, the two teams tied up.
It's interesting though, some teams are super loud, some teams are very quiet. For some teams, being quiet is beneficial because talking actually distracts them, or it makes them, you know, start to worry about what they're going to say. Are their teammates going to react to what they're saying in the right way? So they just stay quiet and, you know, only say the absolutely necessary things. And so far, it's pretty evenly matched, even though we might have very different styles of communication between these two guys.
There might be an opportunity here because that demo did come on Cheerio. It's Niels Cook who took to the skies, but Chacaron read that one nicely and did manage to get that clear. Cheerio just about manages to get a touch on that one, but Niels Cook sends it back across goal. Niels Cook read that one beautifully, and the finish matches that anticipation.
Well played.
And Excel Esports find themselves up by 1.
Good placement on the shot as well, right behind the goalkeeper. Tinny not able to half flip into the ball in time, and that's 2-1. Excel looking to turn this one around. Of course, it's really important that they don't give Endpoint that single point. They don't want to give them anything. Actually, it might not make a difference.
Oh, what a read! You out of nowhere! Cookie Tinny! As you say, a beautiful read. We're going to see the ball played here. Tinny plays off the backboard. Ponex looking for that long clear, but Tinny positions himself beautifully and sends that one into the back of the net. Great play from Tinny, the player that we don't talk about. Now, he's giving us something to talk about.
Well, every single kickoff since that one shot that Niels Cook scored direct from the kickoff, it's going in Endpoint's favor. I've got to say their kickoff strategies are looking a little bit more clean. They're players who are going for that ball in the middle, showing that they're able to neutralize it in effective locations, maybe slightly into the opponent's half so that your teammates following up has a good ball to run onto. They're doing that a little bit better than Excel right now.
2-2 then. The game's
ended. Oh, it's double!
Off the backboard, as you say, looking for that double touch, but couldn't quite connect on that second touch. Cheerio now trying to find a shot on goal, but that one's going to be a little bit wide. Ponex is going to have some work to do here. Zenzus does manage to get that ball clear. Nice position in there from Zenzus to make sure that he can get the read on that one and get that one clear. Tinny now going to put the pressure back onto Excel. Cheerio looking for the pass back out to Tinny, but Tinny going to rotate back now.
Oh, a little make-out session in the corner. They do break it. That's like an unwritten rule in Rocket League. If you end up driving into an opponent, you gotta just leave it there. Just make it a 2v2. Just, you know, stick together. But these guys, they're not fancy. They're gonna go.
This is a
try hard.
A crazy little bit of play here at the moment. Zenzus is gonna take the dribble down, has the opportunity in the 1v1 situation, but well played there, as you say, by Tinny there. Good read from him. Ponex takes this guys off the roof. He's looking for a second touch on that one as it falls, but
good hit.
Chacaron now might have the opportunity. If Zenzus get on there, but can't quite convert. And little moments like that, you just feel like one of these teams is either going to be a mistake or a little bit of genius from one of these teams that's going to take this game, number 3.
Oh, it was so close, Chacaron. I think he got a bit psyched out by the defenders flying up in front of him there. It was so close to hitting that rebound, which was his own pass to the backboard. You saw that wide open backboard. We were talking about this earlier. If the backboard's open, why not go for it? And the XL backboard has been open the last few minutes, more than their goal is. Let's see if Endpoint can exploit that towards the end of the game and steal this one.
2-2 then, approaching that last 35 seconds of the game. We've seen most of the game so far in this series go right down to the wire. Zenzus looking for the redirect. It's just going to be slightly high.
Good save.
30 seconds remaining. Chacaron doing work here for Endpoint. Tinny now going to take that ball towards goal. Can he find a pass to Cheerio? But Zenzus positionally, absolutely beautiful play there from him to keep this one tied up.
Yeah, he saw exactly what Tinny had planned. He's like, I smell an infield pass here. You don't have anything going up the back wall. Got in the way. Just at the right time. Now 5 seconds left. This is the time of the game that could just be as good as an overtime goal. Excel trying to get the ball away right now. I think they take 0 seconds at this point. Overtime it is, but Endpoint, they've been doing better on the kickoffs. They've been neutralizing it. They've been cheating. They've been scoring. Both teams cheat. It's gone in position again. That has happened every time.
I thought we were going to have the 1v1 there with Tinny, but it's going to be Zenzus who takes it to the skies. He can't quite connect, however.
Tinny could have done so much better with that. If he'd taken a light first touch, he could have volleyed that. He could have half volleyed it. He could have faked it, dribbled it. He had every option, and he just overhit the first touch, ruining the opportunity.
Amazing what a bit of pressure can do. That would have won the game for Endpoint. Put them up by 1 game in the series as well. Tinny takes to the sidewall now. He's looking for a second touch on this one. Takes it past the player. Oh! Cheerio finishes it off, but all of the play from Tinny there to set that goal up. Huge plays coming out of him. And Endpoint take game number 3.
just got it over the defender. I think it was Zensa's. Great assist by Tinny. Cheerio just rolls it in, just bodied it. That was impressive though, well played. Every kickoff is looking the exact same as that overtime kickoff. It's very scary for Excel. I think they need to change it up because what they're doing right now is they're trying to neutralize the ball just into the opposition half, but it's always going backwards because they're not getting as good a hitbox on it. It's not luck, they're just getting outplayed.
Well, what I was going to ask you, what do you suggest that Excel change up on their kickoffs? As you say, every time that we're seeing a kickoff at the moment, my heart's in my mouth because I'm just thinking something's going to happen here. Usually see those kickoffs are quite a sort of neutral situation and a fight for possession of the ball, but what have they got to change up here? Because, I mean, I'm having a heart attack every time this kickoff.
Excel, if I was Excel right now, I'd be thinking, right, we need to stop trying to keep the ball in the middle because every time we do that, it's ending up in our half. The guy who's cheating for us is getting immediately taken out of the game. That leaves our defender 1v3, and he's going for boosts as well. It's taking him even further away from the play. I would just try and hit the ball not dead center because if you hit the ball on the side and your opponent hits it in the middle, you're going to lose it, but much more volatilely, if that's a word. It's going to fly into your corner, which is actually better. Yeah. It's better to have the ball safe in your defensive corner. Your goalie can then go collect it without being worried about the goal, his goal being right behind him. Much better than leaving it in the middle for yourselves to get dribbled.
Well, I want you to break down that play at the end, that overtime goal. What an assist from Tinny. Off that sidewall with the air dribble. And obviously Cheerio there to do the easy work, just follow it up and
bodied it in.
Put his nose on the end of it to send it into the back of the net. But I mean, break down that play and how difficult that play is to pull off mechanically.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looked like he might have missed it. That was the thing that baited Zensis forward. Zensis he would have been waiting. Whenever you got an opponent air dribble and you want to wait until he's finished touching the ball and then you challenge. And he probably thought, okay, I think it looks like Tinny might have lost control of this one. He looks like he's much lower in the ball, but the last second he just boosted that a little bit higher, tipped it forward, got it over Zensis. And that was what enabled Cheerio to follow up with, you know, not the prettiest goal, but a goal, and a very important one.
Game number 4 is underway then. Endpoint, if they win this one, they will take the series and continue their hot streak of form. Excel, they need to win this game. They need to win this match if they want any chance of staying alive in the Elite Series, making those playoff positions. And we're going to see Chacaron get this one clear. Tinny takes to the air, does get a play out to Chacaron. Chacaron with a pass inside here. Tinny looking to follow it up. Using that backboard. Nice passing plays coming in here early from Endpoint. And that's always a sign of a team getting a little bit more comfortable.
And he did mention playoff. If Endpoint do finish this series with a win, they're in the playoffs guaranteed, and we actually have every playoff team locked in already. So Excel not only need to win this for themselves, but also for Envy, who are really, really wanting Excel to come back here. Because, I mean, even if Excel come back, we're going to have Endpoint on 11 points, which would mean Envy have to win both their games. Excel have to win next week and have Endpoint lose next week again. It's not in Excel's control beyond this week, but right now it still is. They need to win this, and it doesn't look likely. They're in such trouble every time the ball hits that backboard.
Cheerio sends this one back into the middle, looking for Tinny, but he is going to be challenged, so it's going to be Niels Cuckoo has the opportunity to just clear this ball away for Excel. The ball does drop back inside. Tinny's not going to make contact on that one, but Zensis is going to be back just to sweep up for the guys on Excel. Niels Cook now is going to take this one back inside, but Cheerio doing defensive work. And Chacaron's going to now bring this one away for Endpoint.
I'm really worried for Excel if they concede. I mean, we heard them earlier, they're very, very quiet, and that's not good if you're trying to make a comeback. Sometimes you need that hype. Sometimes you need to be loud and animated on stage because that's going to, you know, create something in your teams to believe in yourselves that comeback can happen.
All right then, well, Endpoint, of course, are just one game away from taking this series, so let's see how these guys are communicating and see if they can close out this win.
Okay, I'm back with them. Yeah, same. Got it? Oh, yeah. Hold on. I mean, I have no boost. Hold on, Chacaron.
Got there. You're alone, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Straight down. Miss. Give us a night.
Oh, sorry, Niels.
It's fine. Left and around. Just getting boost.
Yeah.
Oh, what a pass. Got it.
Nice. You got the Chacaron? Nice one.
Carry on. Boost. Okay. I didn't get that either.
Up.
Sure. Well done.
Just through the corner.
Yep. I'm not on that. You missed. Off. Hold nice. On. I'm gonna go. No one's there. Foundex is not gonna be back. Shoot. Yes, boys.
Really good call.
Well done. Thank you. I don't usually see that and turn into you. Yeah. Well done.
I could have said that Niska wasn't getting back either, but
yeah, it's fine. Well done. Good goal. Nice.
Good.
I'll go left.
There we go. Endpoint, just at the end of that one, managed to take the lead. And that is a huge goal in the context of not only this series and the game, but the Elite Series, Johnny.
This is playoff contention on the line. Can they lock in their playoff spot? This game, less than 2 minutes away from doing that. And you heard right there, they were unfazed. Despite their goalposts being rattled, they managed to just battle on through. Chacaron takes the lead. Love that Pondex is willing to slow the ball down, but he just gets slammed, dunked by Cheerio. Anyway, they're trying to control this ball. XL want to have control of their own destiny so badly. And they're really tough to keep down though.
This is all or nothing now for Excel Esports. They need to get back into this game and they need to get back in soon. 1 minute 20 or so left on the clock. It's, as I say, do or die time now. Niels Cook is going to have to rotate back. Pondex is going to be there though. And this is such a strange turnaround in fortunes. Who would have thought after the first couple of weeks that we saw from Excel Esports that they would be on the cusp of being essentially eliminated from the Elite Series in those playoff positions. Endpoint coming to life when it matters. Pondex going to have no boost, does send the ball towards goal. Chacaron does manage to get the clear now. 1 minute remaining, 1 minute for Endpoint to close out the series, but 1 minute for Excel to keep themselves alive in the Elite Series.
Still just one goal as well, that's all they need, but they're struggling to even get the ball clear. I don't think they've had a shot in quite a while. It is still, Cheerio gets it in! Endpoint might have just put it beyond all doubt.
And Excel's dreams might have just been crushed.
Oh, Pondex, I don't know how you managed to hit that ball backwards. He's probably wondering what happened.
I think teammates are probably wondering what happened there.
He must have been out of boost because he tried to flip early. Sometimes you flip early into the ball, get that immediate speed boost to carry you forward into the ball, but the part of his car that he hit it with did not help one bit. Oh, Niels got trying to double, just out of reach.
Oh no, Niels saved his own!
Oh no!
No, that is not what you need. Everything looks so good apart from Niels Cook.
Oh, there's nothing he can do.
Ruining everything for everyone, Niels Cook.
Can do. It was just landing, the poor guy.
I feel for him, but get another opportunity there. Is anyone here? No, there's not, and Chacaron might have an opportunity at the breakaway here, but Pondex does a great job of just stalling.
That might be game.
Chacaron, 9 seconds left on the clock now. It's do or die time. Niels Cook sends this one into Pondex. Pondex tries to send this one back in. Niels Cook doesn't get there. It's going to be Endpoint who are going to win the series as soon as this ball strikes the floor. Endpoint continue their run in the Elite Series. They win the series, but Excel Esports are now out of those playoff places, Johnny.
Defending champions, we were worried about these guys at the start of the season. These teams had exactly opposite seasons, even now. 2 wins, then 4 losses for Excel, 2 losses, then 4 wins in a row for Endpoint against some pretty tough competition. They've taken down Envy and Fuse, Prophecy, and now Excel. Back to back to back to back.
The tale of two very different stories, but also quite similar. You look at Excel, win, loss, and now another loss. And on the other side, Endpoint turning things around, loss, win. And I mean, if I'm going to pick one of those, what I want to pick.
Yeah, what was Stumpy thinking going with Excel there? I don't have a clue. He's looking at me
against
right
the grain. Mr. Against the grain, we know
against the grain. That goal from Chacaron, we heard the comms during that one. They were pretty happy with themselves. That's such an unfortunate touch by Pondex that Cheerio stuffed it in. Niels Cook, he tried his best. Just did not keep it out initially, but
the thing. I just wonder what might have happened if Niels Cook wouldn't have been probably the most unfortunate person in the arena, or probably within the M25, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just so unlucky.
Getting that unfortunate block. If they score that, there's a chance, isn't there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Even if there's like 2 seconds left, you can still do it. Rocket League is one of those games. It's never over till it's over. But when you've accidentally saved your teammate's shot with about 15 seconds left, you might just have to call it over. You're losing by 2.
Just go quiet, don't you? It's like
It's
everyone knows what's happened,
I've got it.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
I feel bad for them. But I mean, that is the end of Excel's series, and Endpoint guaranteed playoffs. So congratulations to them. They're going to join Method and Prophecy and Reason in those playoffs, but seeding yet to be determined.
Now, let's talk about Endpoint. They've, as you say, they find themselves in those playoff positions now. It's almost a carbon copy of the season they had last time.
It is, yeah.
They were champions of Season 1. Big question for you, Johnny. Can they do it again?
They're not my favorite, but they are in form. And I mean, they were like in form coming into the end of last season. They even stepped it up at the playoffs. So it could happen again. You never know. I think they have a chance, but I'd have to stick with Reason for now. They're looking like the team to beat.
So you think you're fancying Reason over Method at the moment?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Reason probably.
Wow, it's a big call.
Even with Method come back. Reason, this has been their stage this season, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time they're up on stage, they just win. And
That's
then
very true.
Method got to work it out for them.
And who do you think the standout player is for Reason at the moment? Who do you think's really sort of adding to that fire? They didn't, obviously, a different lineup from what they had in Season 1. I think it's very important that we make that clear. Who do you think that has got to step up?
I think, well, Burrito B is the player that I'm watching because I mean, he scored that goal last. Oh, just delicious. I wasn't here for that one, but I still saw it online. I couldn't believe that shot. So he's the player to watch for me. He's debut season as well. What a performance. But yeah, we've got some clips of Endpoint pretty happy with themselves for winning. They probably know that they've locked in playoffs to that. What a relief.
A little bit of relief, as you say, but one person I want to hear from, who's one of my favourite people here at the Gfinity Elite Series, is, of course, Ariel, and she's backstage at the moment with one of the teams.
I tell you who my favourite people are is Endpoint. Come on, let's do a celebration. We're in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs, aren't we? Yes! Chacaron, you were a bit nervous about that. You said you've been playing badly this week, but it was totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got teammates like that to carry, then there's nothing to worry about, is there?
Obviously, a great moment for you guys. Feeling good, feeling great. But it was a bit of a shaky start. That wasn't like easy breezy for you, was it?
No, they're Excel. You know, they're a RLCS level team. They haven't had the greatest results here, but it's silly to underestimate them.
Yeah.
So we had to play our best.
And this is the Endpoint we very much saw in the first series, didn't we? Like, you guys didn't crumble under that pressure. You didn't like respond by getting, you know, you looked like you were working really well together as a team. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, ever since we moved into that house together, my whole philosophy is, you know, just play, you know, keep the communication up, keep everything the same, even if it's all going completely wrong. So when it's going right, you'll still have that sort of focus. And I feel like at this point, we just have it down.
And Chia, what is it like when you guys are playing? Because we were trying to listen to you guys talking to each other, between each other in the headphones. Are you the a type of team that like shouts at each other, or is it all very calm and restrained?
It's really calm between the goals, but when we score, it's just I can just hear Tinny and Chacaron screaming like little girls.
It's funny you say that because we actually heard you when you scored the winning goal.
Yeah, they're very energetic.
So how are you feeling about this, Cheerio? You've been one of our top goal scorers again. Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm just doing my best and it's paying off, I guess.
And do we think Endpoint have got it to take this series for Series 2?
Yeah, of course. I think we're going to get to the finals at least. Yeah. So that's good.
Love that. Well done, boys. One more time for the celebration dance. They're in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. Love it, guys. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Ariel. You tried your best with Cheerio. Just didn't want to join in there. I'll tell you what, they did not excel and they met their Endpoint.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's good.
So it's out. Excel are out. Sorry, Cole, I couldn't reach.
No, it's because I made that pun backstage and he said it to you, and now you're
stolen
so I'm not bitter at all that
well, it started there and it's moved its way
Come on,
here.
I'm going to take that. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Excel are out. What did they not do right there? They just came up against a tougher opponent and a better team today.
Excel's defence wasn't the best we've seen it. Last week they played really, really well against Method. They were unfortunate to lose a couple of times in overtime. This week they're defending particularly off the backboard. As soon as Endpoint played a backboard passes, Excel looked like they were in trouble every time, and it was that contributed to their loss.
Perfect. So here are the goals from that one. And at Endpoint, they have, like, as Onset said, they're a kind of mirror image of Fortunes in the Elite Series this season. Excel started very well into the competition, and then Endpoint started badly, but it's flipped now, and Endpoint looking stronger going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of happened in that same way at the start of this series as well. Both teams started off so scrappy. The amount of double commits that there were right at the start by both teams, the amount of backboard whiffs, the amount of shots that were just missed, long shots that are missed, over rotations, everything, it was going wrong for both teams. The difference is Endpoint learned from that, and they learned quicker than Excel could, and I think that's ultimately what got them the win in the end today.
What I'd say as well is that for Endpoint, their very first result was a 3-2 loss against Reason, and at the time, we were thinking, oh God, Reason have beaten them, you know, they're not going to be much this season, that's a poor point for Endpoint. But as the weeks have gone on, that 1 point that they gained from a 3-2 loss is looking more and more like a valuable point, like a really good result for them as well.
They needed that one. Well, listen, gentlemen, let's have a look at how that affects the standings, because I think there's a lot of effects. We were stood backstage with the Envy boys, and they've got some somber faces, i.e. they is well sad back there. And reason being, they cannot make it. Reason Gaming, Endpoint are through, guaranteed. You've got Prophecy, Method, and Team Envy. We're supposedly in with a chance, but things are not looking good. XL are definitely out, so are Infuse, and so are Epsilon. Now, a man I want to hear from is Pondex. I want to find out, Ariel, what's he got to say for himself?
Well, what have you got to say for yourself? You started off so well. You needed to win that to get into the playoffs. It now means that you're not going to make it to the playoffs. What happened?
We're not comfortable on the LAN setup, so we would way rather play online in this competition, but we need this LAN experience.
It's funny because a lot of people have actually said that, like online, you guys are really strong, you've got a really good reputation, you're a force to be reckoned with online, but somehow here it's not quite transferred to this arena, has it?
No, I think it's just because we're not used to our own setups at home when we just be chill and sit back in the chair.
Okay. So what does this mean for you guys as a team? Are you going to continue to play together as the three of you, or will you change the lineup a bit for XL, do you know?
Right now there's no future replacements in mind.
Okay.
So.
Okay. But have you enjoyed your experience?
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
So we'll hopefully see you back if we do Series 3.
Hopefully, yes.
And I'm just going to ask you, because our end game today is Reason and Prophecy. Who do you reckon will win between those two guys?
It's going to be a really good match to watch.
Who are you going to put your bets on?
If Prophecy can pick the game up from last week, I think they're going to take it.
They're going to take it. There you go. Well, thanks very much, Pondex. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Ariel. I love the little dude behind you. He's just well up in his hoodie and is just trying to be, like, inconspicuous and not be seen. Look at him! It must be cold. We need to get the heaters on, guys. We need to get the heaters on. We need to get the heaters on. Listen, guys, there is still plenty of action to come in the battle for Rocket League playoff places. He's a little ninja, that's what he was. Sadly for XL, the journey is over, but joy for Endpoint as our current champions seal their semi-final spot.
About to get into this game. It's going to be XL versus Endpoint. Oh, Endpoint is not able to. Tinny puts up Endpoint. Get it down, you lad.
Crossbar's going to be followed.